Good evening. This is All India Radio, Kohima. I'm Jonas Yantan with Evening News. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacts with state chief ministers, says lockdown due to COVID-19 pandemic has yielded positive results. 1,396 new COVID-19 cases takes the tally to 27,892. Total 6,184 patients recovered so far in India. Nagaland Power Department installs power supply to designated COVID-19 hospitals and quarantine centres. And Kohima Village Council expresses no objection for burial of COVID-19 victims. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today said that the lockdown due to COVID-19 pandemic has yielded positive results as the country has managed to save thousands of lives in the past 1.5 months. He said this while interacting with chief ministers of states via video conferencing to discuss the emerging situation and plan ahead for tackling the pandemic. This was the fourth such interaction of the Prime Minister with the chief ministers. Modi said India's population is comparable to that of the combined population of several countries. The situation in many countries, including India, was almost similar at the start of March. However, due to timely measures, India has been able to protect many people. Modi, however, forewarned that the danger of the virus is far from over and constant vigilance is of paramount importance. The Prime Minister said that the country has seen 2 lockdowns till now, both different in certain aspects, and now there is a need to think of the way ahead. He said that as per experts, the impact of coronavirus will remain visible in the coming months. Reiterating the mantra of Do Gaz Duri, he said that masks and face covers will become part of people's lives in the days ahead. He added that under the circumstances, everyone's aim must be rapid response. He pointed out that many people are self-declaring whether they have cough and cold or symptoms, and this is a welcome sign. The Prime Minister said importance must be given to the economy as well as the fight against COVID-19. He emphasized on the importance of usage of technology as much as possible and also to utilize time to embrace reform measures. He emphasized on the significance of ensuring that more people download the Arogya Setu app to bolster the efforts of the country in the battle against COVID-19. He said reforms will have to be brought that touch the lives of common citizens. He also suggested that people associated with universities can be integrated on devising ways to fight the pandemic and strengthen research as well as innovation. Modi highlighted the importance for states to enforce guidelines strictly in the hotspots. He stated that the efforts of the states should be directed towards converting the red zones into orange and thereafter to green zones. Meghalaya Chief Minister Conrad K. Sangma today said that most of the chief ministers who are in favour of extending the lockdown but with more relaxation in the green zones so that the livelihood is not affected. After attending the video conference with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Chief Minister Sangma told reporters that all the 8 states that spoke today have said that lockdown should continue, while some of the other states had also written to the Prime Minister that it should continue. He informed that during the prevailing situation, steps taken up and different financial situations faced by the states was informed to the Prime Minister. Sangma said that in principle the lockdown should continue, but there should be relaxation depending on different areas like geographical areas, containment zones, besides others. A total of 1,396 confirmed cases of COVID-19 have been reported in the country in the last 24 hours, taking the total number to 27,892. Out of the total cases, 6,184 patients have recovered and discharged from the hospitals, including 381 patients recovered in the last 24 hours, while 872 patients have died so far. Briefing media in New Delhi today, Health Ministry spokesperson said the recovery rate of patients are improving and now stood at 22.17%. He said 16 districts in the country which earlier had cases, have not reported any fresh cases since the last 28 days. He said a total of 85 districts from 25 states and union territories have not reported any new case since the last 14 days. In Nagaland, results of 16 suspected samples sent for testing from the state after 3 p.m. yesterday till 3 p.m. today are awaited. Union Minister Prakash Javadekar today said that the world has come together to fight COVID-19 and similar global efforts are needed to combat climate change. In his message for Petersburg Climate Dialogue, Javadekar said COVID-19 has taught that countries cannot act separately as future is linked and everyone has to work together. He said it is a common responsibility to mitigate the challenges of climate change. In Assam, a group of students who were studying at Kota have arrived Guwahati early this morning. Health Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma and Minister of State for Health Piyush Hazarika welcomed them at Saroj Sajai Stadium. Assam government has made the arrangement to bring back 391 stranded students. All of them are now put on mandatory quarantine. This news comes to you from All India Radio, Kohima. Considering the urgency of providing power supply to designated COVID-19 hospitals and quarantine or isolation centers, the Power Department has carried out installation works on a war footing across the state and installed dedicated transformers and associated lines. Chief Engineer DNR of Power Department, Indiana Dopa Dali, in a press release stated that the installation of dedicated transformers and associated lines to the designated COVID-19 hospitals at Civil Hospital Dimapur, Naga Hospital Kohima, and Quarantine Center at Beren and State Institute of Health and Family Welfare, Jammu has been made ready to use. The chief engineer said the department had also inspected and carried out the repair and installation work for power connections at various designated quarantine centers across the district as identified and earmarked by the Health Department and district administrations. Dispelling the apprehension on the burial of COVID-19 victims, Kohima Village Council, KVC, has expressed no objection for the burial. KVC Chairman Dr. Nipi Kire stated that the decision was taken in an emergency meeting held yesterday at KVC Panchayat Hall. The meeting unanimously agreed in principle that the dignity of the dead, the religious traditions and their families should be respected and protected throughout. It, however, said that after observing the standard precautions, the mortal remains of a COVID-19 patient would be allowed for burial in the village cemetery or burial ground of the family or church. The meeting was attended by KEL presidents and various bodies of the village, including advisor Dr. Niki Kire, MLA Krehu Lezachu, Deputy Commissioner Kohima Gregory Tajavele, and Principal Director Health and Family Welfare Dr. Vizole Sokre. Over 684 tons of essential and medical cargo have been delivered across the country under Lifeline Uran during COVID-19 lockdown. Lifeline Uran flights are being operated by Civil Aviation Ministry to transport essential medical cargo to remote parts of the country to support India's war against COVID-19. Lifeline Uran flights have covered over 376,000 kilometers of aerial distance to transport essential medical cargo to remote parts of the country. 383 flights have been operated under Lifeline Uran by Air India, Alliance Air, Indian Air Force and private carriers. Helicopter services including Bhavan Hans Limited have been operating in Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh, islands and northeast region, transporting critical medical cargo and patients. Principal Director of School Education Shanavas C. has asked all the teachers who have received acknowledgement from the department on rendering their service for tutoring through radio and television to report to the Directorate of School Education for interview tomorrow at 12 noon. Informing this, Shanavas said the teachers need to produce their employee identity card and observe all norms of social distancing. In view of the lockdown due to COVID-19, Director of Technical Education has informed all the intending candidates that the last date for submission of forms for both Nagaland State Entrance Examination and Diploma Entrance Examination for the session 2020-21 has been extended till further order. And now 20 News, here are the main points again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacts with state chief ministers, says lockdown due to COVID-19 pandemic has yielded positive results. 1,396 new COVID-19 cases takes the tally to 27,892. Total 6,184 patients recovered so far in India. Nagaland Power Department installs power supply to designated COVID-19 hospitals and quarantine centers. And Kohima Village Council expresses no objection for burial of COVID-19 victims. That is all we have in this evening news bulletin. Good night.